On the track surface, there are a lot of bumps and ruts. On the racing tonight, I bet there are going to be quite a few bumps and runs. We'll have to see as Scott Patton, wheeling number 46, set to make his debut. The green flag is out. Gavin Sanders on the outside of the front row roars to the line with Patton to his inside. Patton fighting tooth and nail there on the outside.
Sanders all the way down to the yellow line there. Still is not clear. And now McKinnon's coming on fresh tires. Oh. McKinnon is going to go to the bottom of Sanders, and Pat is going to try to follow him. Isn't close enough.
New race leader, Gavin Sanders, outright.
Finally, I mean, you saw just how long it took to make that pass, of course. Whoa, Sanders a little bit loose off the yellow line there out of 4. He's going to close the gap.
Here he goes.
Oh! Contact!
Sanders hangs on. He loses the lead. After Justin Michael takes 3 in a row, the combo breaker is none other than Joe Yakes, win number 2 in Truck 200, and he does it at Iowa. Nighttime racing is so nice that we're doing it twice. Yes, it's race number 2 of the Midwest Swing. And for the boys in the booth, it hits a little closer to home as we are set for 132 laps around the dearly departed Chicagoland Speedway for the Homecoming 200 here for round number 7 of the inaugural season of Truck 200. And it is right here on the top spot for some good old-fashioned truckin' turn 200. It is the Illinois boys back at it again. It's Tommy Cook. It's the king, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, who will be along momentarily. We have seen some great racing in these past 6 rounds of championship competition, but Joe Yakes, after the late race bump and run in Iowa and his second victory of the season, now finds himself atop the point standings for the very first time. And this is the biggest points lead anybody has had all season. He is up over 100 points on Steve Vrooman, who led the first 4 rounds of the championship. The former points leader going into Iowa, TJ Bartell, had problems and fell back quite a ways heading into tonight's race. And while Justin Michael finished in a position other than first for the very first time in his Truck 200 career. 2nd through 5th are all within a race of the lead, but unfortunately Paul Ellison down there in P5 will not be in action tonight. So will one of these top 4 continue to make their mark this season, or will someone else claim victory here tonight in virtual Joliet? We are just a few minutes away from finding out. Cars are just about ready to hit the track for qualifying. And we'll have the action for you around the turn here on Turn 200.
A blind night that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon deep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. We are back here on turn 200 ahead of tonight's running of the Homecoming 200, round number 7 of the first season of Truck 200. Matt Williamson is back. He's back. He's back. Welcome back. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Boy, I tell you, I know you love it too. I love me some Chicagoland, especially here in the trucks. I feel like Chicagoland and the trucks is just a synonymous duo. So I'm certainly excited. We don't get to see this anymore in real life, so we are quite excited to bring it to you all here on the sim. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. We thought that about the last couple of races, and it didn't end up that way, although the finish last week was quite insane.
Yes, crazy finish last week. Good racing the last 2 weeks, but 202 straight green flag laps is the tally, I think. Actually, if I were able to do math, I think it's 222 straight green flag laps. Let me do some live addition on the stream right now. Yeah, 222 straight laps of green flag racing here across the last 2 races in Truck 200. 2 caution-free races at Pocono and Iowa. But yes, a crazy finish last week at Iowa sees Joe Yakes get his second win of the season. You saw the highlight of it just a couple of minutes ago. He is provisionally in the top 10 starters. Talk. And we were marking just a couple of minutes ago about a kind of a slow first lap for Justin Michael, and then he turned it right around on us and went 600ths faster than Roland Holt to overtake provisional pole. I think one driver still has an opportunity to go out and put down a lap. It'd be Jeff Smith, although his first lap is up on the board, I do believe, so his qualifying run might be over. So I think we're just waiting it out here. Just a few minutes left to go. Maybe we got a jump start on some of our track conditions here as we still await the sun to fully set here in the sim and wait for the lights to come on around the 1.5 mile curved back straightaway Chicagoland Speedway. What are our weather conditions looking like here?
Yeah, well, we saw in practice, obviously those at home didn't see, but we got to see ourselves. In practice, the sun was out, so it was a little bit warm, but only 86 degrees now. It was about 89 degrees when we kind of first started practice here today, the track temperature that is. And as the sun continues to set, it's going to keep going down a little bit. So it's going to be prime conditions for our drivers, although they will need to be careful the first few laps on these tires because this setup and this track on a cool track, it's going to be a little bit slippery on those new tire sets. So that's something you got to be careful of. They are going to have 3 extra sets. Our fuel window tonight, I'm going to guess around 45 laps, especially when they start losing a little bit of tire wear. They're going to be able to go just a little bit longer. So we are going to be on a 2-stopper here tonight.
2-stopper, got to love it. Back to the 2-stopper. It was a 1-stopper at Iowa last week. It was our only 200-kilometer mile race, or 200-kilometer mile? Jeez. How about 200-kilometer race on an oval last week at Iowa? Oh, God. All right. Jeez.
Anyways,
this is the Midwest swing. Our brain has turned into corn collectively. That's what the Midwest will do to you.
I don't know about you. My brain's always been corn. I grew up on that stuff.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yes, so interesting. It'll be our only one-stop race of the season, no doubt. Last week at Iowa, and they still found a way to make it interesting at the end. And we're back to the 2-stop. It's what a lot of the fast drivers like. They really like to mix it up on strategies if they can. As we've got McFrinkin Duncan in the chat. We also got Andrew Runyon in the chat. Drive faster, beep, beep, headlights out. Yep. I agree, 100%. Any final thoughts here before we get to the race to see how things are going to shake out here tonight?
Much like last week, I think the starts or restarts, if we have any, are going to be quite crazy. I'm excited for some runs, though, especially turns 3 and 4. You start to see a lot of movement up and down the track, trying to find where the grip is. You and I love that sort of racing, kind of like what we saw this last week at Auto Club in real life for NASCAR. So I'm hoping to see a little bit of that here in Truck 200 as well.
Alrighty. Starting grid is set. We are ready to go for round number 7 of the inaugural season of Truck 200. And with his 3rd career pole and what will be his 5th career start here tonight, Justin Michael coming off of his worst finish yet. And it's a 5th place finish last week at Iowa. Looking to go a lot better here tonight and start in P1. Another front row start for Roland Holt. He will start on the outside of the front row. On the inside of row number 2, runner-up finisher in his debut last week at Iowa, Scott Patton rolls off P3. Jeremy McKinnon, a great start for him. Great to see him back up front here tonight. He rolls off in 4th. Rounding out your top 5 starters here tonight, Ryan Dye. It feels like it's been a while since we've gotten a great classic run from Ryan Dye in Truck 200, so he's looking to go big here tonight in Chicagoland. Gavin Sanders leading late, ends up P3. After the contact with Joe Yakes, he is looking for redemption here tonight on the outside of row number 3. Jacob Houston has had a rough stretch of late. It is awesome to see him start up in the top 10 here tonight. He rolls off 7th. TJ Bartell gave up the points lead after Iowa last week. He rolls off in 8th. Joe Yakes, Steve Vrooman, 2 drivers in the points hunt. They are 1st and 2nd in the points, 9th and 10th on the starting grid. Kyle Zittel, Brantley Gainey, 11th and 12th. Garrett Rainey and Christopher Kresge on row number 7. Jeff Smith, Adam Cantwell on row number 8. Will Salamone, Luke Peterson, and Johnny Nielsen. Eric Breeding as well in 19th. Johnny Nielsen starting in 20th. Deep in the field start for Andy Poliski. He rolls off 21st. Dakota DeMay was the last driver to put up a qualifying time. He rolls off in 22nd. Troy Thomas then will roll off from the 23rd starting spot. I am not racing. Richard Hayes is, though, and he is sporting a new number on that truck. He is number 2 now. He will roll off in 24th. Hunter Leach rounds out your 25 truck field here tonight as we are ready for 132 laps around the now defunct Chicagoland Speedway. I am excited. It's homecoming, and we've got the homecoming king up here in the booth, Mr. Matt Williamson.
Homecoming king?
Yep. You've been elected. Congratulations.
Oh, wow, thanks.
Pace car hangs a left. It is Justin Michael, Roland Holt up front. We are racing in Chicagoland. Michael working both lanes, trying to stall any momentum anybody has in turn number 3. His teammate Scott Patton working on the bottom. And still with Roland Holt to the outside. Jeremy McKinnon hanging tough there as well. Top 4 started to scoot away just a little bit from Ryan Dye in P5 as they work down the curved back straightaway.
Boy, and Justin Michael really is working top to bottom. You've seen him sliding up and down the track. He has Scott Patton right behind him, who has been right on his bumper. And here in the early goings, after you feel comfortable on these tires, you can pretty much go all out. Don't have to lift, maybe just crack the throttle a tad into the corners, but not much.
Some contact further back in the pack between Luke Peterson and Troy Thomas. And Luke Peterson, I believe, has got a decent amount of damage on that truck. That's an unfortunate start again for Luke Peterson.
We take a look at our points leader right now, the 87, Joe Yakes. He is up 1 spot to 8th. And his counterpart from that finish last week, Gavin Sanders, right in front of him. So those two battling again here in the early goings of this one.
Here goes Patton. He's got a look underneath of Justin Michael for the race lead. Jeremy McKinnon has a look to the middle of both of them as well. I'm not sure he's going to have the run here. Patton to P1, 3 wide for second. Holt on the bottom, McKinnon in the middle.
Whoa.
Michael rolls out of it up top.
And after Michael worked the bottom a lot, he is on the top now. I don't know if he's stuck there or if he elected to go there. He drops back down now. Must have just gotten kind of caught in a spot he didn't want to be in. Still 2 wide for that second spot.
Holt on the bottom, McKinnon on the top side. Now it's Ryan Dye up to P4. Justin Michael back to 5th. Luke Peterson with the damage on that truck has hit pit road. It's going to be a tough night for the 89. As further back, it looks like Gavin Sanders taking a peek underneath of the 87 of Joe Yakes for 6th.
And Yakes did get by Sanders, and now Sanders is trying to make a pass back. Garrett Rainey in that nice-looking 13 truck is going to maybe look to go 3 wide, not quite there.
Oh, they are tight further back in the pack.
Looked like Houston almost got squeezed up into the wall.
And I think he did. Rainey came over the radio and apologized. That was tight quarters if there's ever been them. And now up front, Jeremy McKinnon is taking the race lead. He is going to lead lap number 8.
We got a couple of chatters in the chat rooting on Jeff Smith, Montville Speedway, Andrew Runyon. Jeff Smith, he had a tough week last week. He's currently back in 15th. Did not get the best qualifying run like he did last week. Had a really good one last week.
Yep, down 1 spot from where he started right now. As Luke Peterson's getting ready to rejoin the track with the damage fixed on that truck. Jeremy McKinnon, 2 laps led here thus far. We are clean and green through 8 in the books, working lap number 9. Starting to single file out a little bit, but the battles are still tight throughout the 1.5 mile Chicagoland Speedway. Scott Patton is right up on Jeremy McKinnon.
And Rainey and Zittel are battling back here. This is for the 9th position. Everybody's kind of settled in. Rainey's still working the bottom. Mostly everybody else working either the middle or even closer to the top side. And Rainey is now going to slip in behind the 53.
It's a great-looking truck for Kyle Zittel this week. He dropped a bombshell on us on the Venom podcast, which we were on this week. As never mind that right now. Here goes Scott Patton underneath of Jeremy McKinnon for the race lead. Not sure he's going to be able to get the move done here. We'll see what McKinnon can do down the back straightaway here. Joe Yakes working on Justin Michael now for the 5th spot as well.
Justin Michael put a great lap time up for qualifying, but he has struggled in the early goings of this one. And Scott Patton has retaken the lead.
Move Scott Patton back up to P1. McKinnon not done fighting yet, though. You wouldn't expect anything less out of Jeremy McKinnon. He scraps for every single inch on the racetrack.
He certainly does. You see him. He has a lot of momentum right now on that top side through this curved backstretch.
Patton protecting the bottom, trying to stop a possible crossover from McKinnon, as now Yakes and Dye are side by side for the 4th spot.
Your series points leader, Joe Yakes, is on a mission right now. Up 5 spots into 4th if he can complete this pass. Meanwhile, McKinnon,
whoa,
really working on Scott Patton here for the lead.
Justin Michael has gotten past Joe Yakes and Ryan Dye in one lap. Incredible. So maybe Michael was... Oh, McKinnon to the wall! McKinnon into the wall.
And here comes the melee from the pack of drivers behind him.
The good news for McKinnon is that it didn't register a 2X. So it limits the damage as, wow, Yakes and Dye are tight. Now they're going to be 3 wide. So that moves Roland Holt back up to second. McKinnon has slipped back to the 7th position.
And Justin Michael maybe just decided to conserve a little bit here in the early goings. He's now taken off.
Back past Roland Holt, so move him back up to second.
Joe Yakes has slipped down a couple of spots. He's now behind Gavin Sanders, who has fought back to pass Yakes again.
It's crazy how quickly the momentum is swinging back and forth between these trucks. It's not uncommon for somebody to gain 2 spots in 2 laps and then give up 4 spots in the next lap. That's just how things are going right now.
Yeah, especially out of 2. If you don't get a good run out of 2, you can be in big trouble.
Looks like we got a big Jeff Smith contingent in the chat here tonight. Jeff is still holding on in 15th right now. I think he's just outside of this lead group, which stops at P12 with Steve Vrooman. But Adam Cantwell trying to drag everybody back up into the mix here.
And there's the boy, the 96 of Jeff Smith, as you mentioned, just inside the top 15, currently in 14th.
Oh, Will Salamone just got on the apron and had an absolute tank slapper save. He's going to lose a spot to Steve Vrooman, but he's going to keep racing, and that's the most important thing. So right now it's... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a nice little pack right there. You can see Jeremy McKinnon has fallen all the way back, nearly out of the top 10, as Houston is making a move on him. Vrooman right behind him. And Jeremy McKinnon has just not had a very good go of it here in Truck 200 at all this season. He has had all sorts of things happen to him.
1 top 10 for him and a pole. A couple of laps led, but man, it has just been an unfortunate set of circumstances for the most part. And tonight's not over yet, but yeah, we'll see.
More 2x2 here with that group.
Yeah. Three wide. Cantwell, McKinnon, Salamone. Ooh. Is that Jeff Smith there?
I think it was. I think Cantwell might have drifted up just a tad. I didn't get a great look at it. Smith nearly into the wall. He was able to collect it.
The draft and the side draft are important here. Usually you don't talk about those outside of Daytona and Talladega, but certainly important here at Chicagoland, as Justin Michael has got a run on his teammate Scott Patton for the lead. Not sure he's going to be able to stick it anywhere on track this time, but certainly Patton knows his teammate is there.
And a couple spots back from that, Gavin Sanders looked to the bottom side of Ryan Dye. That's going to allow Joe Yakes to get a run on him here. Maybe not enough to make a pass.
Here comes Michael for the race lead on the bottom. He is going to clear Patton up. Patton does have a bit of a run out of the corner. Moves down to cover all the way to the white line through the tri-oval. And Justin Michael is back up front. After falling back as far as 6th, I believe. And working right back up front.
Boy, and Patton was all over the back of him. You saw him all the way down through turn 1, just trying to break him loose, trying to break the 78 of Justin Michael loose a little bit to try to carry more momentum than Michael could through the backstretch.
Patton back down underneath the white line. Again, there's no out of bounds here. So that is a perfectly legal maneuver if you think you can handle it. And Patton is more than capable. I would venture to say pretty much everybody in the field is capable of doing that.
Good battling all the way throughout the field from first. Really nice battle here for the fourth spot between 4 trucks. Excuse me, the third spot.
Man, Montville Speedway with the slams on Jeff Smith in the chat.
About as hard as Ross Chastain slammed Clint Boyer on Sunday.
Oh, man. You're not kidding. Smith up to 13th.
And just in front of him there is a pretty good little pack of trucks here that if he can get up to them, he would have an opportunity. As Roland Holt is fading just a bit, Ryan Dye is sucked right up to the back of him.
Dye might try and go high-low on him here out of turn 2. He says he hates this back straightaway, but it may help him out here.
Well, he says there's no time to relax, which he's not wrong.
No.
It is not a straight backstretch. It is curved all the way around, so you can never just kind of one-hand it, check your phone like one of our pals, Nathan Reynolds, does every once in a while, and, just relax for a second. You can't do that around the backstretch here.
Holt is going to have the momentum, and Sanders might go around the outside of Dye, who was trying to make something happen on the bottom there. Patton keeps getting runs on the race leader, Justin Michael. Michael keeps covering him off on the bottom and stalling those runs out.
Boy, and this, what just happened to Ryan Dye is exactly what you talked about a little bit earlier. He tried to make a move for the third spot. It didn't end up working out. He lost all of his momentum out of 2, ends up losing 2 positions out of the deal. And now he's going to have to work for at least a couple of laps to gain that momentum back up.
So quickly, a top 10 rundown for you as we're coming to put lap number 28 of 120, or run 32 rather, up on the board. Justin Michael still leading Scott Patton. Roland Holt fading a little bit, but he's still in P3. Gavin Sanders in 4th. Joe Yakes rounds out your top 5. Ryan Dye is up in this group as well in 6th. Garrett Rainey kind of out in low man's land in 7th. We got a battle for 8th brewing right now between Kyle Zittel and Steve Vrooman. Will Salamone, Adam Cantwell through the 11th position. Jacob Houston in 12th. Jeff Smith in 13th. DJ Bartell, Andy Poliski round out your top 15. Everybody that started the race is still running. Luke Peterson is 3 laps down after a bit of early trouble. But everybody else pretty well in touch with the pack. Troy Thomas, who was also involved with the Luke Peterson scuffle, has faded just a little bit. I'm sure some damage on that truck as well. But everybody else within 10 seconds of the lead.
Tommy, we're going to go on board with 3rd place in the points, TJ Bartell. He is not super buried, but he's a little bit buried back in the pack here, currently 13th. He qualified, I believe, 8th, and has fallen back a few spots. It's hasn't been the best go for him yet, but there's a lot of racing left. He's learning a few things here. Currently working on the 96 of Jeff Smith. Tight quarters there as he looks to the bottom.
And Bartell, not a great performance in Truck 200 at Iowa, but he turned right around the next night with the Venom Truck Series and put it on the podium there. So some vindication for him and a little bit of momentum, I'm sure, headed into tonight, even if it's not starting the way that he wants right now.
I'll tell you what, there is a big, big battle in front of him. Lots of trucks lined up, hoping to get around each other as they nearly went 3 wide up in front here. And Salamone's going to get in the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, that was Zittel. That was actually Kyle Zittel.
Kyle Zittel. Oh, my gosh.
That was Salamone who was in the middle in the that grade 25.
So Kyle Zittel going to go from 8th way back to, I believe, 16th, 17th, 18th, actually P19. Man. Close quarters again between Cantwell and Salamone as they continue to battle now for the last position in the top 10. Jeff Smith in the mix there as well with Bartel and Jacob Houston.
Yeah, Smith and Bartel both got through on the 17 of Houston. Houston must have had some sort of a little issue there because he's gained momentum again and is now looking underneath the 96 to make a pass. Boy, I tell you what, if there's going to be an incident, it's going to happen right back here. These guys are jockeying for position and not giving a whole lot of room to spare. Meanwhile, up here...
Sorry, go ahead. Well, we just had an incident between Johnny Nielsen and Richard Hayes, but they are both still rolling. Johnny Nielsen does have a meatball flag, though, unfortunately.
Well, up here towards the front, this is that battle for third we've been talking about. Ryan Dye tried to make that move, lost a couple of spots. He's still in sixth. Joe Yakes was looking to the bottom of Sanders, has now lost a bit of time on him. Sanders has a huge run on Roland Holt. He's going to go to the bottom here. Question is, can he make it stick? Holt will have a run out of the corner. Will he take it? He doesn't. He decides to stay behind the 10 for now.
Kyle Zettel's been on and off pit road. Johnny Nielsen and Richard Hayes, both with a lot of damage, are entering pit road right now as Yakes working on Holt. .35 complete. How far do you think we are from pit stops here?
Well, you mentioned a couple of guys, and I know they've had incidents, but we are not that far off from pit stops. I think early pitters will come around 40. Late pitters might be able to stretch it 46, 47. We've seen them stretch it a little bit farther than we thought they could, so maybe somebody trying to make it to lap 50 here. Who knows?
And we got JK Gaming in the chat because he is not able to race tonight. It's I don't know if you're having this down there, Matt, but boy, it is incredibly windy today. Like, it is like my car is parked and about to flip over windy. It is insane. So I'm sure John K is getting a little bit of that up north as well. So hopefully all is well.
Whoa, a little bit farther back here in the back. Adam Cantwell in the middle here. Looked like Salamone nearly went to the grass. He had to make a save. And yes, I am having those high winds here as well. It rained just briefly at my office today, and one of my coworkers had their window cracked open, and water was blowing into his office quite excessively. So the wind was very high, yes.
Johnny Nielsen, Richard Hayes, both with their damage fix, are going to re-enter the track here.
Yep. So Gavin Sanders, after he's gotten around Roland Holt, he's picking up some time here. He's about a second and a half behind Scott Patton right now. And he's put a little bit of a gap, about a 3/4 of a second gap from him to Joe Yakes.
Expecting pit stops probably to begin for everybody within the next 5 laps.
And in the limited amount of time that we've had Justin Michael and Scott Patton here in the series, we've seen them stretch their fuel runs about as far as they can go, as TJ Bartel has hit the pits.
Just outside of the top 10. Could this start the onslaught onto pit road here? Working lap number 41.
I think that's a great move from Bartel. He was in that big pack of trucks. I don't think it's a bad idea at all to come to the pits without all of them to try to get a clean pit stop in. Scott Patton is in.
Patton in from second. Moves Gavin Sanders up to P2 now.
Will
if
that
anybody
bring
else
in?
selects to come in? Nobody else of note is coming in this time.
Will it bring in the leader, Justin Michael?
Johnny Nielsen is back on pit road. Justin Michael forgoes pit entry this time. No call-outs over the radio. That doesn't mean nobody's coming. Everybody is going to go past this time as well.
That group right around the top 10 has gone single file now, still pretty close together.
Hunter Leach has entered the pits from just inside of the top 20.
And Andy Poliski extremely quietly has gained 13 positions up to 8th.
Yeah, what a great run for Poliski. We noted he didn't have a great qualifying effort, but he's making up for it.
He's making up for it. He is in the top 10 of the points right now.
Cantwell and DeMade are going to be pitting this time.
Campbell, whoa, DeMade, really? I don't think he got in safely. He went around that yellow cone.
Christopher Kresge in as well.
Boy, Dakota DeMade really tried to shoot it in there quickly.
Ryan Dye, Gavin Sanders, Jacob Houston hitting pit road now, as well as Troy Thomas.
Oh, and Sanders slides it across the line. I don't know if he got slowed up.
No black flags for anybody as of yet.
He's certainly going to lose a little bit of time on his pit stop if he didn't.
Andy Poliski on pit road as well. Jeremy McKinnon has hit the pits. Garrett Rainey is coming this time. Roland Holt is going to be making his way on a pit road as well as Will Salamone. So this is pretty much everybody. Justin Michael is still out on track, though.
As is Joe Yakes, your points leader. Oh.
Jeff Smith on pit road. Here comes Joe Yakes. This is what worked for Joe at Iowa. Here comes Justin Michael as well. Oh man, he sent it in there.
Yeah, this is what worked for Joe in Iowa. You are correct.
He was the very last person to come in to the pits under green on his one stop and had 5 laps fresher tires at the end of it. But this time it's Joe and Justin. So Justin covers him off. Still waiting on, I believe, Steve Vrooman to hit the pits here.
Steve Vrooman's the last one. Eric Breeding just hit the pits, and Steve Vrooman is really stretching it here.
Not a surprise. Steve Vrooman is always one of the last ones on pit road if things are going up or looking up for him, as here he comes.
And Scott Patton has assumed the lead after green flag pit stops.
Not the most difficult pit road to get on and off of, but certainly can lull you into a mistake.
Well,
but no black flags this time.
We definitely saw some action getting onto pit road. And TJ Bartell, wondering, I know that he came in the earliest out of anybody, but he made up a lot of time there.
He sure did. Bartell right now between Sanders and Michael.
Is it possible he only took 2 tires?
I'm not saying
I can't imagine he would, but it's not out of the question entirely.
Certainly. We'll have to see as this run goes along how he comes and goes. As Michael gets past him there. So I believe that was a pass for fourth. Michael now looking to the inside of Gavin Sanders to get back up onto the podium, or rather up into second. But they are 6 seconds behind Scott Patton.
Yeah, Scott Patton just whooped everybody on on green flag pit stops there. Justin Michael...
Patton was 2 seconds behind Justin Michael when they were coming into pit.
Yeah, it's possible that maybe Justin Michael had a little bit of an issue that we just didn't quite catch. I don't know. I know that Sanders slid it into pit road as well, so he lost a bit of time also on his pit entry. Justin Michael has gotten through on Gavin Sanders into second now. And, whoa, Sanders really close to that wall on the outside. And Justin Michael has a couple of laps fresher tire than Gavin Sanders does at least, and he has about 4 or 5 laps fresher tire than Scott Patton does.
He's going to get a tow if he wants it off of...
I believe that's Hunter Leach.
Yes.
And Leach is just going to stay high, stay out of the way here.
I believe we just had an incident between Jeremy McKinnon and Jeff Smith. McKinnon drifted up off the bottom and just tagged Jeff Smith. Don't think it was intentional, but certainly not what either of them wanted to see.
Take a look at that incident between McKinnon and Smith, and yeah, it looks like McKinnon just drifted up the track.
We've seen plenty of people clip the apron and bobble up the track. It's not, certainly not out of the question.
Yeah, he was just trying to get hard into the gas, I think, and just came up and tagged him. Smith's going to end up losing another position out of that, but has now gained it back again.
Smith right now, I believe, is the last truck on the lead lap. In 20th, McKinnon right ahead of him in 19th. Boy, McKinnon has been going the wrong direction this race after the brush with the wall running inside of the top 5. It has been a tough row for McKinnon to hoe.
Boy, a little bit farther back, right outside the top 10 here. This is where we've seen the heavy battling all night long. Jacob Houston, Adam Cantwell, Will Salamone all together right now. And they have Christopher Kresge not far behind them. Somebody is slow down on the bottom of the track, and that's Peterson, who we mentioned had problems very early on in this one. We're going to go ahead and go on board, do a little kick pot. Kick pot? Goodness gracious. How about a cockpit cam for Gavin Sanders? I'm just going to shut my mouth and let him work.
Cockpit, kick pot, whatever gets the job done, partner.
Boy, in that view, you can hear the throttle from Gavin Sanders. Gets out of it for just a second before they go into corner entry, and then it's hammered down from there on. Now, that does change towards the end of the run, but right now, early on in a run, you are full speed ahead pretty much all the way around this thing.
Been watching the gap come down, down, down between Patton and Michael. Right after pit stops, it was up over 6 seconds, and now it is just over 3 seconds. And Michael bringing Sanders with him.
And Michael kind of laid off on that first run as well. The first, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 laps or so. Kind of laid off of it a little bit, and then as everybody else's tires started to go, he started to, well, he just kept strong, basically. Started moving through the field, and I would imagine maybe a little bit of the same here. Except this time he has Sanders right in tow with him.
About to cross into 2.5 seconds. So they are tracking down the race leader here.
And
as Yakes and Roland Holt round out the top 5 right now, they're not really getting closer together.
There's a lot of chatter about Jeff Smith in the live YouTube chat right now. He did get back around McKinnon.
Yes, he did. They are still working each other over pretty hard. I've been watching that here and there.
And in front of Smith is Kyle Zittel, who we
is also
mentioned.
damaged.
Yeah, he hit the wall early on. He was having a good run up to that point. But
when has he not been having a good run?
and then something inevitably happens, unfortunately. Exactly. Nathan Reynolds in the chat mentions how good that 53 truck looks.
It does look pretty good.
I mightily agree. It's about time Kyle Zittel got a fresh paint job, and he picked a good one. Whoa, he gets loose out of the corner!
Oh, man!
I don't know how, but he's still gained momentum after getting loose, but Jeff Smith will be able to complete this one.
Now, not too far behind these guys is the race leader, Scott Patton. And not too far behind Scott Patton, in fact, within tow range, is Justin Michael now.
And just behind Justin Michael is third place Gavin Sanders. So things are about to heat up quickly here in Chicagoland under the lights.
Chicago! Almost a second gap between the top 3 here. Appreciate everybody coming to hang out with us here tonight, and the racing action is not over yet. In fact, it's about to get good. It's about to get really good.
Certainly about to heat up. Like JR's barbecue on a Saturday night.
Oh, boy. You're saying it's going to be a slobber knocker here before long?
Well, let's hope it's not too much of a slobber knocker, but I wouldn't put it past them.
We'll see.
We've seen some beating and banging in the front here last couple of weeks.
Inside of a second. 3/4 of a second make it. Sanders fading just a skosh from Michael, but still well within draft range of Patton himself.
And here in frame, these are your top 3.
Equidistant. Although Michael is trying to change that, he is pulling up quick on his teammate Scott Patton.
He is, and you're right, Sanders is losing a little bit of time here.
Still within a second himself. And as these two get to battle, and he is probably going to be able to pull right on up.
Yeah,
Because make no mistake, the charge is coming here from Justin Michael.
If Michael doesn't make this move quickly and Patton's able to put a defensive maneuver into play, it's certainly not out of the question that Gavin Sanders inserts himself into this battle.
Patton gets defensive. Michael maybe just laying back a little bit, getting the momentum off the corner. Here he goes to the inside of his teammate for the race lead. Patton down to pinch. Michael underneath the white line. Across the line, he's got the lead, but he does not have the spot outright just yet. Patton fighting back on the outside.
And on the outside, as long as Patton has a good run through the corner, he's going to carry a lot of momentum down the curved backstretch here.
Lap traffic ahead as well may play a factor in this one way or another.
The 78 of Michael is able to clear this time.
Patton incredibly loose there on corner exit, hangs on to it. Wow. But Justin Michael back out front outright. P1.
Mr. Reynolds has asked me to not talk about a specific somebody, so I won't do it. I did mention him earlier in the race. A very good-looking truck on for a specific person here tonight. Wink, wink.
Yes.
On screen.
So as Michael assumes the lead, he starts to pull away from both Patton and Sanders. Sanders is pulling up now to the tailgate of the 6. For the Jeff Smith fan club in the chat, he is just outside of draft range with Eric Breeding, but that'll be the next driver up if he gets up there. Oh, Hunter Leach is up in the wall in the front straightaway, and he has some significant damage on that truck.
Oh, yeah, you can see smoke pouring out of the back of it.
He gets it down to the apron. That is the right thing to do there. Man, that is a tough break for Hunter Leach, who is just looking to log some laps here. Just went a lap down. That's unfortunate.
For those of you sleeping on Hunter Leach, I do want to mention something that was told to me last week. Apparently, apparently his pedals have been broken, I think, nearly the entire season. When he gets off throttle, in order to come all the way off throttle, he quite literally uses his toes to lift the gas pedal so he can get all the way off throttle. Certainly not.
That is insane.
Certainly not good circumstances conducive to having good runs, let alone just not wreck anybody. So he's been a brave soldier here in Truck 200 this season.
So he has disconnected. He joins Richard Hayes, I believe, as the other retiree of the race thus far. That leaves us with 24 trucks running. 19 of those on the lead lap. Kyle Zittel will be the next victim of the race leader here before too long, as Gavin Sanders is hounding Scott Patton for the second position.
Sanders looked to the bottom. Patton, he blocked the bottom, and then they kind of crisscrossed each other. That was a dangerous move.
Sanders is no stranger to the old duck and weave in a U.S. open wheel C-Class car.
Or Lotus 79, because we can talk about those.
Or the Lotus 79, yes, that is correct. Yeah, Gavin Sanders running his first full season of anything stock car related, and you wouldn't be able to tell by the show that he has put on this year as he goes to the outside to overtake Scott Patton for P2.
Well, it's not done yet. He has lap traffic in front of him as well. It's going to be a tough ask to make a pass here. That's Kyle Zittel. And he nearly made contact with the wall. That was close.
Oh, my gosh.
Off the side panel of Zittel, he started getting real tight there. Now looks to complete the pass on the 46. He's able to get it done. But not without a little scare there.
And these two are still within a second of the race leader, Justin Michael. Michael hasn't really pulled away as dramatically as you might have expected as they were battling here. They're still within a second, still well within draft range.
Well, now that they've sorted each other out, you would think that they would maybe start pulling a little bit closer to Justin Michael here.
Find a way to maybe cooperate, if at all possible, to get up back to the race leaders. We're not too far away, probably another 10-ish laps from green flag pit stops for the final time. As Kyle Zittel has just come down pit road. Again, he's off sequence because of some damage earlier. So this shouldn't start the wave of people to hit pit road.
A little bit farther back in the pack here, TJ Bartel, Steve Vrooman battling. Vrooman looked to the inside of Bartel just about a lap ago, was not able to complete it, and is now trying to regain that momentum to make another run on the 9.
Jeff Smith has gotten around Eric Brading for the 17th position. That's good. He's not too far behind Christopher Kresge. So Smith is kind of staying right in front of the race leader. I don't think it's going to be too long before he is probably overtaken by Justin Michael. Or to be put one lap down, rather. Oh, up into the wall, Eric Breeding. Man, he hit it hard, trying to stay up high for Gavin Sanders.
For those curious, that gap between Michael and Sanders has pretty much stayed about the same. Sanders might have lost a 10th within the last few laps here.
Sanders, that last time by, was 0.02 quicker. So it's certainly some give and take right now, and it's not. We're talking some fine margins between these two. That last time by 0.03 quicker was Michael than Sanders. Michael also getting a draft right now off of Jeff Smith, so that's certainly going to help until he gets up there.
Back here, that same battle between Bartel and Vrooman. They just have had Zittel, who's on fresh tires, split the gap between them, take it 3 wide and pass in the middle. And now Steve Vrooman, he was looking towards the inside again. Christopher Kresge has hit pit lane, by the way.
Yep, Kresge on pit road. Garrett Rainey just got up and into the wall running inside of the top 10, but is still motoring on, so hopefully not a whole lot of damage on the side of that truck.
And this is about when we would expect pit stops. I would honestly expect them to stretch this one maybe a little bit longer if they can, because if they don't, they're going to have like a 50-lap run, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to make that.
Michael trying to get around Jeff Smith here.
Right now they would have 55 left. Here comes TJ Bartel, who was the first one to come in on the initial round of green flag stops. I think he's going to have to pit again. near the end of this thing. He's going to hope for a caution, I think.
It's going to be a long stretch for TJ Bartell, no doubt about it. As Michael gets up in front of Jeff Smith. Smith is now, would be the lucky dog if a caution were to come out. Here comes Scott Patton to pit road.
I'm surprised by this move.
I am too. I think it's a skosh early. But I don't know. We'll have to see. Garrett Rainey on pit road as well. Again, he got up into the wall a few laps ago, so want to get some damage repaired.
And Patton did come in early last time as well.
Yes.
Not as early as Bartell did, but within a couple of laps, I believe.
Not this early. On and off pit road for Bartell and Patton, no issues so far.
And right now, if we stay green, I have to believe Joe Yakes and Justin Michael probably going to have the upper hand here towards the end of this race.
Oh, Dakota May just got up into the wall, battling with Will Salamone.
And here comes Joe Yakes.
Here comes Joe Yakes as well.
Wow. So, a lot of surprising early pitters here.
Oh, problems for Garrett Rainey. He's off into the grass in the infield on the back straightaway and off the track. So, coming back up to speed. We're going to stay green for now. Cantwell and Houston made contact on pit road. And it is all happening all of a sudden.
Well, there's a lot of people diving into the pits. And I am totally mistaken.
Oh, Roland Holt is around. Roland Holt goes around at the entry of pit road.
I would like to point out I can't do math. We're only going to have 40 laps left again.
Black flag just piled on for Roland Holt. I'm sure an improper pit entry as he spun it out on the entry to pit road there. Man, that is... God, talk about guys who can't buy a break. That is Roland for sure.
Yeah, he was having a good run again this week and is not going to end up getting a result to show for it. Unless something crazy happens here, which I wouldn't put it past us. They're trying, Tommy. They're trying.
They are trying. McKinnon and Salamone on pit road. Gavin Sanders is going to be coming this time. I believe Justin Michael is coming as well.
Oh, Sanders barely got off there.
Wow.
So still out on the track, Steve Vrooman, Andy Poliski, Jeff Smith, I believe, are the only trucks that have not come in for the second round of green flag pit stops here.
I believe you're correct. We've lost Johnny Nielsen and Eric Breeding due to upload packet loss. Roland Holt has served his black flag and will now re-enter the track at least one lap down, maybe more.
As far as that Garrett Rainey situation goes, I'm going to put that on Nathan Reynolds.
Yeah.
We never mentioned him, and he just had to bring him up in the chat.
Yep. Poliski's on pit road. At least it wasn't us for once.
Quite shocked.
Jeff Smith is coming to pit road this time. Boy, oh, he is off into the
he's not gonna make
grass.
it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Close quarters there. Tried to dump it off into pit road, and man, he way overcooked it. So he's going to lose a ton of time. But didn't hit anything. Didn't hit anybody.
Boy, it was close. So Justin Michael was down on the apron.
It was close.
And had the wherewithal to stay out of the way.
Poliski off pit road. Steve Vrooman is coming in this time.
And Gavin Sanders has lost a bit of time on that round of pit stops.
Jacob Houston is stopped on the bottom of turn number 2, and he is towed back to the pits. I don't know what happened to Jacob Houston.
I mean, is it possible he unchecked fuel on accident, maybe? I don't know.
I have no idea. Justin Michael just set the purple lap of the session. 31.060. I guess not the overall session, but of the race session. Justin Michael has snagged another couple of bonus points and is trying to track down his teammate Scott Patton. This time, Patton is only 2 seconds ahead of him rather than the 6 that he was last time.
I'm not sure what happened to Jacob Houston. It looks like he just pulled off and came to a stop on the track.
He is showing a meatball flag on my screen, but I really couldn't tell you why. He didn't pop up with an incident or anything, so I'm not 100% sure what happened to Jacob Houston, but it continues a streak of really crappy luck for him, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I can't see anything that's happened to him there, so that's kind of a weird deal.
Houston has been with us from the start, and I know he wants to get a good run in, and we want it just as much for him. He's running pretty well here tonight, so it's unfortunate that it's not going to end that way.
This battle for 7th is getting hot, getting heavy. They're 3 wide. Salamone takes it in between McKinnon and DeMade.
Wow. McKinnon is a lap down, but DeMade is not, so that was a pass on McKinnon position, or rather DeMade for position.
And Steve Vrooman was not far in front of them, now has pulled away a bit, and he is on much fresher tire than those other 3.
Reynolds, I believe, asking for an update on Garrett Rainey. He is currently 1 lap down in 16th, so certainly it could have gone worse. And cross your fingers that it isn't going to get worse. Oh, Steve Vrooman, 3/1000ths of a second off of the purple lap.
And Scott Patton is working through some lap traffic right now. He just snaked his way through about 3 trucks, and he's got to go through another one here in Rainey. And that's going to put Gainey down a lap now, so your leader, Scott Patton, has passed up through 12th place.
Bandit Motorsports, James Lehman is not here tonight, but Patton and Michael have certainly been the class of the field here tonight. And it's going to continue one way or the other. It's looking very much like, at this moment in time, that they are going to walk away with a trophy again here tonight. But things can happen late in the going. We know that. Anything can happen.
Well,
Kyle Zittel is coming back to pit road. Go ahead.
Well, Brantley Gainey was kind of in the middle of those two. He does pull up high. And Justin Michael, much like we saw on that previous round of pit stops, although a bit earlier in the run, is hounding the 46. He is pushing him. And that's scary.
Trap.
That's scary on a curved backstretch.
Going to take him to the outside. This could be the pass for the win. Patton all the way down to the grass. Trying to get any sort of momentum he can into turn number 1. He's not done fighting yet.
And it's going to be all for naught. Justin Michael just carries a load of speed around turn number 2.
Justin Michael back to the front. Gavin Sanders 2 seconds behind the race leader. Joe Yakes another 5 seconds behind Sanders. TJ Bartell right now rounds out your top 5. We mentioned it at the top of the show. The top 5 in the points. They're not the top 5 in the race because Paul Ellison elected to take a provisional tonight. He is spending time with his family, much deserved. He's got a big night tomorrow as he tries to be the first driver in the Venom Truck Series to win on the new configuration of Atlanta. It is the Layton River Memorial 155 tomorrow night for the Venom Truck Series right here on Turn 200. You are going to want to be here for it. It is going to be a fantastic show. But Paul Ellison not racing with us here tonight, but he is one of the favorites to pull the trophy, to pull off the win and take the trophy tomorrow night, rather. Kyle Zittel is not racing tomorrow night. He is who I had as the favorite for that race. He is going to be taking some much-deserved time away from the sim as well. So hopefully Kyle Zittel has a nice time, and we'll see him back soon to both Truck 200 and the Venom Truck Series.
Oh, and Sanders trying to make a move on the 46. Patton shuts the door. But Sanders carries a lot of speed there. He's going to be on the inside going into turn number 3.
A lot fresher tires on that 10. And he is going to get it done easily into turn number 3 now.
Yeah, they prevail.
Now the question is, does Gavin Sanders have anything for...
Yeah, and Justin Michaels working through a little bit of lap traffic right now. It just got through on Cantwell.
Cantwell just outside of the top 10. And you know what? The Jacob Houston damage, I believe, came on pit road with Adam Cantwell. They did have contact on pit road, so maybe an overheating issue for Houston blew him up. But Cantwell certainly has dropped a couple of places, but has been running right in that 8th to 14th area this entire race.
Boy, I tell you, who's put together a nice strategy here. He's gained a lot of time on pit stops. That's TJ Bartell. He is short pitted twice.
Yes.
But my math was completely wrong. I think it will still be a little bit closer than he maybe wants to, but I think he will be able to make it on fuel. But he is currently in 5th. And behind him, Steve Roman and Ryan Dye are only about a second and a half behind. So later on in this run, his tires are going to fall off quite significantly.
And who has the freshest tires on track?
That would be Steve Roman.
That would be Steve Roman. That's absolutely correct.
And Steve Roman just got through on Ryan Dye.
Really quiet race for Ryan Dye thus far, but good to see him in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, he was there in that battle for first there, or battle for third, second, I don't remember exactly.
It was just inside of the top 5, you're right.
But ever since then, he's fallen off just a little bit since that first round of pit stops.
So Roland Holt, after the penalty, has just gone a second lap down, unfortunately. Rides in the 15th position. He is the first truck 2 laps down. Top 10 trucks right now on the lead lap. Andy Poliski runs P10. Dakota DeMade is running in P9. Will Salamoni in 8th. Ryan Dye in 7th. Steve Roman 6th. TJ Bartell 5th. Joe Yakes in 4th. Scott Patton 3rd. Gavin Sanders in 2nd. And really nickel and diming with the race leader. They'll give up a couple of thousands here and there, a couple of hundreds maybe. That time by Justin Michael was... actually, he was a full 10th up on Gavin Sanders. That is by far the faster of the 2 laps that we've seen from either of them. As did Sanders just get really loose trying to work underneath of Garrett Rainey there. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, and we saw that a little bit earlier when somebody was trying to get underneath of Kyle Zittel and they got a little bit loose as well. So when you're coming around those corners, especially off of 2 or off of 4, and you're working on the bottom of another truck, it's a little bit hairy. You can get loose really easily.
That battle behind Gavin Sanders is 4th position. Brantley Gainey is trying to overtake Adam Cantwell. As Steve Roman has just overtaken TJ Bartell to move himself up into the top 5.
Well, Steve Roman's moving quickly right now. He has another 6 seconds to get to Joe Yakes, though.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Joe is piping in some pretty good laps as well, just not as good as the top 3. But just good enough, I think, to fend off Steve Roman here. We will see, though, as it's lap number 114. And the gap is extended from Michael to Sanders. It's up over 2 seconds for the first time this run.
But here he comes, pizza. Gainey looks to the underneath side of the 19 of Cantwell.
Garrett Rainey's been with us for a few races in Truck 200, but I really feel like we have not talked that much about him, which is unfortunate. Really excited to have him here. Wow, Cantwell really using up all the track.
Yeah, and if you notice behind them, your third place driver, Scott Patton. So this is a battle for position, and Patton's saying, beep, please let me through. And
that may force the issue here. What?
Well, not only that, I think Gainey's finally cleared himself. That was about a 3-lap long battle around Chicagoland here. Now Patton looks to the bottom of Cantwell.
Justin Michael up front is piping in some quick laps still. He's put another almost a half second on Gavin Sanders in the last 3 laps. We are just over the 1 hour mark in this race, and we are almost done. 1:17 of 132.
Yeah, Jacob Houston hops in the chat. Says that his truck blew up. Unfortunate. Was it from some damage on pit road? Tommy thought it might have been from the incident on pit road that you had.
Either way, it's unfortunate. You're not getting the finishes that you're deserving. That is absolutely for sure. It's another good run thwarted for the 17 here tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, great battling for a top 10 position there. All the way throughout that second run of fuel. Patton does finally get through on Brantley Gainey.
I just realized we've got Dildos for Free Maxwell hanging out with us in the chat. He's coming off of a pretty good run at Iowa in the Venom Truck Series.
Looking for battles throughout the field here. Everybody
is striking out a bit.
It's pretty much subsided any efforts on each other. I think they're just trying to maybe survive these last 13 laps now.
Dakota DeMaid is going to try and hang on to the tail end of the lead lap here. Got another couple of seconds back to the race leader, Justin Michael. And I believe this will be, if it holds up, this will be Dakota's best oval run of the season. He was staring down the top 5 at Talladega and ended up crashing into the catch fence and not being able to make it across the finish line. But it's been a solid night for Dakota DeMain tonight. Ooh, man, tight quarters there between Michael and Kinnan. Only 3 trucks, 1 lap down. It's Brantley Gainey in 11th, Adam Cantwell in 12th, documenting that battle pretty well. But Jeff Smith, despite the problems getting onto pit road, is only 1 lap down in 13th right now. So that is still a pretty good recovery, all things considered. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I mean, he was all the way back to at least 20th, maybe even outside of the top 20 after that incident. So definitely has regrouped, and a P13 after the 90s had would not be that much to be disappointed about.
No, certainly not. 10 to go, make it 9.5 for Justin Michael as he works through 3 and 4. And whether he finishes it off or not, it's been another patented, outstanding run for the 78 up front. As, Brantley Gainey has just gotten up into the wall out of turn number 4. If he can hang on with that truck, the worst he is going to finish is 13th. But he's riding P11 right now, hoping to not draw Adam Cantwell back into the mix. And we talked about a good recovery for Jeff Smith, all things considered. Cannot say the same, unfortunately, about Garrett Rainey. There is a ton of damage on the right side of that truck. I did not realize how bad it was banged up, but he is 3 laps down in 19th. Garrett put in one of the all-time great race admin stints on Saturday night in a charity race that I took part in. There were 53 cars at Talladega, and Garrett was the one and only race admin. That was an outstanding performance from him.
We finally have a battle. We talked about Bartel. We thought his tires would wear right here towards the end of the race, and they certainly have. Ryan Dye has pulled right up to the back of him.
Oh, and Dye blinking a little bit as well.
It's the first time I've seen that tonight.
I've seen a couple of blinks from a couple of drivers, but that's the first one from Ryan Dye. As he hits Da Bears in the chat, and he blinks again. But this is the battle for 6th. As Justin Michael comes across the line, 128 is up on the board. Gavin Sanders is starting to close back in just a little bit, but I think at the rate he's going, it's going to be just too little too late. He's back inside of 2 seconds. He was 5/100ths quicker that last time by.
Yeah, he's put together a good run. He was up to about 2.8 seconds behind Justin Michael at one point. So,
well, I tell you what, he just put 2 full tenths on him this last time by. So Gavin Sanders may not be done yet. It's gotta happen now, though.
We'll continue to watch that gap as we continue to watch TJ Bartel and Ryan Dye go to work. Surprised that Dye is using the bottom here, although he's made it work. He had a little bit of a run there. I just would assume he would use the inside, ride right behind Bartel until he gets a big run on him, and then just try to make a pass down a straight possibly, but oh, and then he blinks again there. But Ryan Dye just hoping to hang on to his position as is. Although I know in the cockpit right now that's not what he's thinking. Whoa, and he really hung it out there out of 2.
2 to go. Sanders again closing, but still a 1.5 seconds out. It might just be too little too late for Gavin Sanders. Here we go. That time, no change. We talked about his worst finish of the season. Last week at Iowa, it was a 5th place finish. And now he's right back to winning form Justin Michael snags the win in Chicagoland. He takes the homecoming 200. Fourth win of the season in his fifth start. And he is right back in the championship hunt. Sanders in second, Scott Patton third, Joe Yakes, Steve Vrooman. Your top five.
And to follow up on that battle between Dye and Bartel, Bartel did hang on to that sixth place spot.
The guys at the engine shop for TRD hate Justin Michael because he's about to blow this bad boy up. All four of Toyota's wins in Truck 200 have come courtesy of that 78. And it's a Bandit Motorsports 1-3 here tonight in virtual Joliet, Illinois. As Joliet Justin is burning it down on the outside wall. There it goes.
There it goes.
All righty, let's give you the full finishing rundown here after 200 caution-free miles again. We did it, third consecutive caution-free race in Truck 200 here tonight. Justin Michael, career win number 4. Gavin Sanders, best career finish for him here tonight. Second podium in as many starts for Scott Patton. We'll talk to all three of these gentlemen momentarily. Joe Yakes, Steve Vrooman round out your top 5 here tonight, the two top players in the points, as well as TJ Bartel, who finishes P6 here tonight. Ryan Dye will move into the top 5 in points here tonight with a 7th place finish. Will Salamone, another nice run for him here tonight, a P8 finish for him. Andy Poliski in 9th. Dakota DeMaid hangs on for a top 10. He's the last driver on the lead lap. Brantley Gainey hangs on for the 11th finishing position. Adam Cantwell in 12th. Jeff Smith finishes 1 lap down in P13. Roland Holt 2 laps down in 14th. Jeremy McKinnon in 15th. Kyle Zittel, Christopher Kresge, Troy Thomas, Garrett Rainey, and Luke Peterson, your 20 finishers here tonight. DNS from here on out, unfortunately, Jacob Houston 21st, Eric Breeding in 22nd, Hunter Leach 23rd, Johnny Nielsen 24th, and Richard Hayes started off the DNF train here tonight with a 25th place finish. Alrighty, it is time to bring your podium finishers up into the Booth 200 for the second week in a row. Welcome back, Mr. Scott Patton. How are you feeling for 200 miles in Chicago here today?
A little worn out, a little frustrated for sure, but good podium, I guess. 2 out of 2, 2 for 2 on podiums, I guess is a good start.
Absolutely. You were up front scrapping all night. But talk me through the pit strategy there. You were one of the first drivers on pit road for both of the green flag pit stops. So what was the thinking there?
Yeah, I've just raced long enough with Justin, and we know each other well enough, and Justin's just one of those racers that you can't really beat him on his own strategy. So if you get behind the power ball like we did on that first run by about a second and a half, 2 seconds, I knew I kind of had to do something different throughout the race, and my thought was to short pit, make sure I could comfortably still make it on 3 stops, and get that gap. We achieved that, nailed the first pit stop, got a solid about a 6-second lead for the second run, and then Justin just had something figured out that I could not figure out for the life of me here for the tire wear. So he just ate up that gap and then some. And then the third stop, we're kind of pot committed to make it all the way to the end of the tank, and he drove away again. So along with Gavin up there, so those guys are really tough to race. Just proves the amount of talent in this league and how you have to put together a race from start to finish. You can't let up any mistakes at all via pit road, tire strategy, racing lap cars too hard. All that stuff. You burn, you slip a tire one time, which we did on the first run, which is pretty much, I'm pretty sure, what kind of put us behind by that about second and a half, and we just couldn't make that up for the rest of the race.
That pretty well covered just about everything, I think. Matt, you got anything after that?
The only thing I was gonna ask is when you're in first, Justin Michael's coming up behind you. Obviously, you said he had something figured out that you didn't. Is your goal to try to stay on the top side to carry momentum, and hopefully he kind of gets bogged down on the bottom? Is that like the only thing you can try there?
Exactly. That was one of our thought processes. If I remember right, it was on that second run when he caught up to me after that 6-second gap that we pulled in front of him after the first pit stop. When he caught back up to me, I kind of told myself, well, I'm going to race him. I'm not going to just let him by with hopes of if I can pin him down on the inside, he can maybe wear down his tires enough to where we can be a little bit more comparable at least and maybe make up for some of that gap that we suffered in the first run. So that was certainly part of the strategy. And then after the third pit stop, when he blew by me, he chose to go around the outside, and he made the comment in our team chat that, hey, this way that I wouldn't be able to pin him down on the inside. So he's certainly got it all figured out. He knows what he's doing. But nonetheless, good run here for the 46 Northeast New England Racing Museum Chevy here.
Yep, you're beating me to the punch here. Any other thank yous, shout outs tonight?
No, just certainly for the team, Bandit Motorsports, Justin Racing down there, and all the guys that help out. Even though it kicks my butt sometimes, it's always good to learn from faster guys consistently. So our time's coming, I'm sure, and I'm sure there'll be some time when the roles are reversed, but nonetheless, it's good to have good teammates out there to share information and have a good time with.
I'll tell you what, 2 races, you've got a silver and a bronze. I'd say your time is coming for sure. So enjoy the off week. Yeah, enjoy the off week, and we'll see you back at Gateway in 2 weeks.
I appreciate your time, and appreciate the broadcast, guys. Thank you very much.
We're going to be hearing a lot from that guy. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And we've certainly been hearing a lot from this guy lately. Don't expect that to change going forward. Gavin Sanders, a drama-free podium here tonight. A P2 finish. It's the career best finish in Truck 200 for Gavin Sanders. Man, you were reeling him in there at the end of the race. How much longer do you think you needed to get up to him?
It definitely would have come down to the traffic. I would think in terms of how we ran the last stint, it was full send there for the first 20 laps, and then who could hold on to it the best. So I definitely got in a little over my head after the 20 lap mark on those tires, and had a few moments of just pure sideways and trying to get out of the throttle as fast as I could. But no, big congrats to Justin. It was a well-run race by him and a good strategy. And yeah, it was really enjoyable tonight. Lots of fun and good racing.
Matt, what do you got for Gavin?
Gavin, you had a scary moment there on the first round of pit stops. Take me through that moment. What was going through your head?
So I didn't practice my pit stop. So yeah, that was a guess and check scenario, and almost went rather bad. But that was probably my biggest time loser in terms of the whole race. Was my pit entry, because I managed to do something similar on the second round of pit stops as well. But I think just a little bit more brake bias to the front next time, and maybe I should practice that. That would also that might bode well going forward.
Shout outs for you here tonight.
Big thanks to Team Raceverse, buy EchoBlade on Steam, Sunset Arctic Games, and yeah, to you guys for putting on a heck of a league and an awesome broadcast.
I tell you what, if you track your results over the course of the season, you kick it off with 2 24th place finishes, then you go up to 9th, up to P3, now to P2. I mean, you can't go much higher than that. Yeah, I think it's certainly things are looking up. I'd say that for sure. But best of luck to you going forward. And enjoy the off week. We'll see you back here at Gateway.
Awesome. Sounds like a plan, guys.
All righty. For the 4th time in 5 starts, we've got Justin Michael up here in booth 200, and he is a race winner again. Did it in not quite very dramatic fashion here tonight, although there was a lot of great racing up front here tonight between you and Gavin, and you and your teammate Scott. Was it ever in doubt in your mind?
I don't know. I mean, we pitted a lot later that first run than he did. I mean, he was out to a 6-second lead, so the back of my mind, I didn't know if I could catch him or not. I knew I'd catch him some with the tire fall off, but I really didn't know if I was going to catch him or not. Luckily, we did. He burned his stuff up, and he even said in the chat that I was just saving tires a lot better than he was. So we definitely had a really good long run truck.
Oh, absolutely. How did it? Towards the end of the race, Gavin was starting to reel you in a little bit. Was that you being conservative, or did you kind of burn your stuff there in the middle and the end of the run?
Well, the last 10 laps, I did back off a little bit. I was pretty much melting the right rear tire, and I was starting to get loose, so I backed it down a little bit. And after I backed it down, actually, there was a couple laps where I ran even faster. But I really wanted to conserve that tire just in case for some reason he just got a super good run for a few laps and caught me. I wanted to have a little bit left over. But yeah, we were definitely backing off some.
Matt, you got anything for Justin?
First of all, congratulations. That first start we knew was going to be pretty hectic. It seemed like you just kind of backed off maybe a little bit, let things sort themselves out, and then went and took the positions in front of you. Were you backing off on purpose there, just letting things sort out, or was there something that happened there in the beginning?
No, it's pretty much what I do every race, just kind of see what everybody else is doing. Just kind of get that feel and let them go, let them burn their stuff up. I mean, they're going to burn their stuff up. I'm just going to let them. There's no point to get up there and race that hard on lap 1 of 130. If you're running the race, would tend to go like that, sure, but there's no point to do it that early. You're just going to tear up stuff.
All righty, top step of the podium again for you here tonight. Shout outs and thank yous for you.
So everybody out there watching, hopefully it was a good show as always. And you guys call a really good race and put on a great leg. We love it. I brought Scott over a couple weeks ago, and he really likes it over here too. And shout out to him for always painting an awesome truck for me. We got a new truck painted today. Forgot to put the right number on it. So I'm 87 on every other league that I run except this one. So he put the 87 on, and 5 minutes before I'm logging in, I was like, hey, yeah, we kind of got to switch that. So hopefully we'll have a new truck out here next week, hopefully.
Well, actually, you've got another week to do it. We've got an off week next week. But how do you feel about Gateway in 2 weeks?
I think of it just like New Hampshire. I hate it. And if they filled it with water and turned it into a bass fishing tournament, it's probably the only time I'd ever go fishing. So I always run good there, though, but I hate it.
Well, there you go. I was going to say, you said the same thing about you were fast in practice and you ran up front most of the race. So we will see. But any big off week plans for you? Any big dinner reservations on Monday?
Yeah, we'll find some place to race and go have fun. Is Monday a holiday? I don't even know.
No, Monday's a holiday for me. I'm going away. That's why we are off. But
okay.
Yep. So being selfish, but we will see you back. I'm sure. I know we'll have you back in the booth here. Probably a Gateway, no matter how much you're downplaying it. But congrats on another big win here tonight. You're absolutely on a tear, and go party hard.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Wow. Let's do the math here. And I'm not sure what lap the caution came out at Dover. I'm going to say with about 70 laps to go, we went back green. Does that seem about right?
Yeah, that seems about right. We kind of had a couple in a row there, I think, at Dover, and then the last, about half the race, I suppose, was green. So we've had a lot of green flag laps, not without some incident. We had a couple of incidents here tonight, but they were mostly just single trucks, so no need for a caution. But yeah, it's been incredibly clean, especially on the start of these races.
I will go out on a limb and say over 400 laps of consecutive green flag racing between the end of the Dover race, Pocono, Iowa, and Chicagoland. These drivers, even the ones who didn't finish here tonight and maybe had some run-ins and some incidents, I mean, everybody contributes to this great atmosphere that we have seemed to be cultivating here, either by luck or circumstance. I have no idea. But another caution-free race here tonight. I mean, the shoe is going to drop at some point. We know it is. But it wasn't tonight. And everybody did a fantastic job all throughout the field here tonight. How do you put a bow on our homecoming race here tonight?
Well, you know what I like to do. I thank everybody that was in the chat during our race, and I have quite a few of them here tonight.
Yes.
So we're going to go through them.
Popping.
Yeah, the Jeff Smith fan club was out in full force here tonight. But first, Drew White, McFrickin' Duncan was out here in the chat. Andrew Runyon, Mottville Speedway. Brittany Ernstberger, Andrew Runyon again. JK Gaming was here. Sad that he was not able to join us on the track tonight. Big Mike, Braylon Runyon, Nathan Reynolds was here. I know Mr. Maxwell was here as well. Jacob Houston hopped in after his truck blew up on him. So thank you, everybody, for hopping in the chat with us here tonight and watching. Wouldn't be possible without all of you and the great drivers we have in Truck 200.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody for their continued support of Turn 200, both in and out of the sim. We're getting real close to 200 subs, so on your way out here tonight, if you haven't already, hit the sub button. We would greatly appreciate it. We couldn't do this without you. We wouldn't be here without you. Our next broadcast will be right here tomorrow night with the Venom Truck Series for their first go-around with the new Atlanta Motor Speedway. Yes, the Pseudo Super Speedway. Tomorrow night's running of the Layton River Memorial 155. It's going to be classic. You're going to want to be here on time for it, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified when we go live both tomorrow night with the Venom Truck Series and in the future. We are off next week for Truck 200. We will be back with the Venom Truck Series that next night, but it will just be Matt covering the North Wilkesboro race. So that is, I'm sorry, that's gonna be a lot of fun. That's gonna be their throwback race. You're gonna have a blast with it, I know. And but yeah, 2 straight Venom Truck Series races before we are back in 2 weeks for Truck 200. With the Illinois-Missouri Border Dispute 200 from Worldwide Technology Raceway for the final leg of the Midwest Midwest Swing. Holy cow, there we go. So that is the next time that we will be back with Truck 200 action. That is how we're going to sign things off here tonight. For the greatest stream producer of all time, that is the Homecoming King, Mr. Matt Williamson. I've been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again here on Turn 200, we say so long from virtual Chicagoland Speedway, where Justin Michael picks up win number 4 on the season. Have a good night, everybody.